Yeah, so Beyonce's documentary Black is King has been, the subject of conversation on Twitter about how people portray Africa and all that. I believe that's what's driving the conversation that we're having right now. First of all, in arts, culture, and music, what do you think is, its greatest problem, Africa faces?
The problem that Africa faces is it's about perception and portrayal, and it stems from how the entire Western Hemisphere thinks of Africa and Nigeria. A lot of people still think we live on trees, like we die of malaria every other day. A lot of people don't think. Some people come to Nigeria, and they're like, "Wow, you guys have roads, you guys have cars." They say Bugatti run on the road or a Lamborghini, and they're like, "Wow, so this is how you guys are living in Africa." We didn't believe some of these things. And that's why it's easy to defraud them in their own country. Yeah. That's why some people will leave Africa and go and speak to them that we are helping people in Africa. We're going to build this, we're going to build that, because they're so ignorant. They don't know what it is in Africa. So it's a huge problem that someone like a Beyonce or a movie like a Black Panther have been solving. They have been solving it in a way where they have been skewing some of those narratives in Africa's favor. So when people see Africa, is the poverty aesthetic is also a thing. Yeah. That's why you will see a dance group or a Nigerian group trying to push something, and they are pushing the African aesthetic. That's why Burna Boy is doing a wonderful video, and is pushing the medieval African man. Yeah. Like what Ayoze said, it was like when Mungo Park discovered Africa or something. It was
just to play along the
play into the stereotype.
Stereotype of
So when people watch those things, it ties into the aesthetic of a black man, the mentality of what a black man is meant to be. But what a Beyonce is doing is she's recouching that entire reality by bringing art into it. So even when it doesn't matter for her to do that, she's doing it anyway. She wants to shoot a video for girls who run the world. She's doing it with the African aesthetic. She employs the flash mob style because flash mobs were popular at the time. Flash mob was what they did in Gangnam Style video. Flash mob was what they did in Harlem Shake. Harlem Shake is flash mob. Flash mob was what they did in it was what LMFAO did with Party Rock Anthem, Sorry for Party Rocking, and some of their hits, and whatever else that they did at the time. So what Beyonce did, she employed the flash mob style, which was very viral. But the dance and the costume and the styling and some of the makeup were very African. As a matter of fact, the two choreographers there were from an African country. I think Ethiopia, I can't remember now. I think it was Ethiopia or something. So the problem was, the good thing that those things are doing is, you are not just, when you think about it, it's affecting the subconscious. It touches your mind. It touches your soul. Like when you see a Black Panther, for example, where you are seeing an African country being the number one country, the most sought after country in the world, because they have a natural resource in vibranium that makes a lot of sense. It can do anything. It's limitless in potential. So it's skewing the narrative in favor of Africans. And as much as anything, Africa could do with a lot of that. A lot of positive PR. That's what it is.
But there's also the criticism of Beyonce's narrative and idea.
Yes.
That not everybody in Africa is this is your idea of Africa. This is your fantasy of Africa is not true.
Yes.
What do you have to say about the criticism?
It's a twofold. There is a yes part, and then there is a no part. The yes part is very little compared to the no. PR is everything. Make no mistake. PR is not everything, because the reality betrays PR a lot, and that's why a lot of things fail. Like when you employ an excessive amount of PR for something, you make it what it is, and when people finally see the real thing, they are not impressed by it. It's like Freddie Adu or whoever else in the world that we've seen. So, or Elizabeth Holmes with Theranos. You push it, and then when people actually say, okay, this thing is not doing anything, so why have you been lying to us? So there is that part. It's real and it's genuine from people who have been criticizing Beyonce and some of these other things. But then you also have to look at the hits that Beyonce is taking from this. A large section of her fan base don't care
about what she's doing.
About what she's doing. Yes, she continues to do it. A lot of people have made the argument that Beyonce is entering the earliest part of her veteran days. And that's possibly true. That's probably true, in fact. It is true. Her sales were not what they once were. But at the same time, you also have to look at what Beyonce did for Megan Thee Stallion on Savage Remix. Her verse alone took that song to #1. The day that song dropped, trended across the world because that's what Beyonce is. She has a dedicated fan base that spreads across the world. And when you look at it, as primary fan base doesn't care about that. The people that will go to her tour, most of them don't care about the African aesthetic. So what she's doing is she's taking a hit from it. Is she benefiting of it? Is it branding for her? Yes. I mean, she's not stupid. She's a businesswoman. She's worth about $400 million. She knew what she was doing. But at the same time, she's killing two birds with one stone. You are appreciating the essence of your blackness. You are wearing your blackness as an armor. Africanism is important to you. In a world where Africanism is trampled upon, you are lifting it up and making people see the beauty of it. So it makes sense in a lot of ways. So as much as the yes is very compelling, the no trumps it a lot. But then you have to look at the entire point of what people are saying. Like, you can't. The major thing that these people are saying that I kind of tap into is loving Africa from afar. That's the only compelling thing that they make. But then even in that, it's a twofold too. You can't just criticize someone for not coming to Africa. Beyonce has been to Africa. She was at the This Day event in 2016 in Nigerian anthem. Yeah. She has been in South Africa a lot. She went with her daughter to South Africa last year or 2 years ago. Yeah. Even with her mom came with them and her husband. But then, if you are loving Africa like that, a lot of people think the people here are not benefiting directly from it. So as much as you are giving them good PR, they are not benefiting from what you are doing. Only you are benefiting from it.
People benefit here. She does a couple of things in Africa. She does charity stuff.
Yeah. But then
she's not our government. What do we expect her to do?
But that's the other part of the conversation. So, but the first part is you have to understand why people are saying that. Because at the end of the day, when Black is King was released on Disney Plus. Disney Plus is not in 80% of Africa. Yeah. There was an article on Trapital written by Dan Ronzi, and he interviewed Beyonce's dad. That's Matthew Knowles. Matthew Knowles was discussing Beyonce's streaming strategy. So she divides her fan base into three. So there are the stands, there are the standoffish fans, and there are people who are not even her fans at all. So the standoffish fans are people who are probably fans of the Carters. The stands are the Beehive people. So the standoffish fans are Beehive people who are not really they're not crazy, but they're not dedicated as much as anything. So what she does is, who needs this content more? Who is it going to resonate with? Who is likely to want to watch this content? So this content probably went to people who are not probably her stans. It went to people who were like white America, because Disney Plus is their primary market is in America. Disney Plus launched within 6 months and they had about 60 million subscribers. That was ridiculous. I think it's a fact that they have 60 million subscribers. So if you are releasing that thing on Disney Plus, it means you are trying to predominantly white communities. So she's not your dad. She's not anything to you. And as a matter of fact, coming to Africa doesn't make any sense for Beyonce. You want her to come and tour in Africa? It's not exactly about attracting people. A Beyonce show will be sold out anywhere in the world. But the problem is affordability. You have to look at the fundamentals of Mrs. Carter's tour. The tour grossed about over $200 million. And you are never going to gross that in Africa. Beyonce Miss World Tour was priced at about $294 per ticket. Africans are even struggling to pay $4 for music streaming. Music that they love. Pay for Netflix. Even Jesse Njoku's company, Iroko TV, people cannot pay for that. So they will now go and pay $4 for Beyonce, or $200 for Beyonce. How many people can even afford to eat? Tours are for the mainstream people. If people sell out 50,000 people, these are the top 1% that are going to come to the tour at the Maracana or at Wembley Stadium. It's the regular people that are going to come there to see Beyonce. And the regular people cannot afford to pay $1 for Beyonce. And if you can't afford to pay Beyonce what she's worth, then she cannot give you the show that you might want to see.
So there's no need.
So there is no purpose for Beyonce to come to Nigeria. There is no reason. So you can't then blame her and be pushing her and be flogging her with that stick. It doesn't work. So in a game of music, you have to look at what works and what doesn't work. Well, this Beyonce thing, it's a twofold. There's something for, there's something against. But the ones that make the criticism that makes sense, they are not as sensible as the ones as the parts where Beyonce is right. And that's facts only.